Good afternoon. Welcome to the regularly scheduled City Commission meeting for Tuesday, June 25th, 2024. If you would, please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can we have a call for attendance, please?
Commissioner Thomas?
Here.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Here.
Commissioner Witt?
Here.
Commissioner Bowles?
Here.
Mayor Staten?
Here. Do we have any new employees with us?
We did.
All right. Can you call them up? Or we can-
First, Connie or Megan's. Connie, can you bring up the new employees, please?
We only have one here today.
Okay.
So bring him up. I'm sorry, I was.
Hello, this is Gabriel Barker. He is the new system administrator. His primary focus is providing IT support to the emergency communications departments.
Awesome.
All right. Welcome to the city, Gabriel. We appreciate having you.
Absolutely, thank you.
So where are you coming from?
Evansville.
Awesome. Awesome. We love taking people from Evansville.
He's swapping now.
Yeah, we do. Well, welcome to the city of Henderson. Do you have any questions for us?
Not really, not at this time.
Well, it's a great place to work. We got some very good benefits and very good people. Travis and other people in his department, they're fantastic. I think you're going to enjoy yourself. And we just wanted to say welcome and hope you have a good, nice, long career here in the city of Henderson.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right.
Welcome.
Thanks, sir. Thank you. All right, we have a consent agenda. There we go. We have a consent agenda, but before we read through it, because there's quite a lot on it, are there any items that any commissioner would like to pull for further discussion? All right, Marie, would you please read the consent agenda?
The consent agenda contains the minutes of the May 28th, 2024 called meeting. Resolution 30-24, resolution approving Human Resources report dated June 25th, 2024. Resolution 31-24, resolution authorizing the submission of the 2024 through 2025 CDBG action plan to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. Resolution 32-24, resolution approving agreement with the Henderson, Kentucky Chamber of Commerce Downtown Henderson Partnership Committee, allocating a monthly payment of $3,916.67 for services in support of downtown Henderson and authorizing the mayor to execute agreement. Resolution 33-24, resolution authorizing funding for Henderson County Planning Commission in the amount of $418,290. Resolution 34-24, resolution authorizing funding for City County Human Rights Commission in the amount of $46,020. Resolution 35-24, resolution approving agreement with the Henderson City County Airport Board allocating up to $211,580 for airport services and authorizing mayor to execute agreement. Resolution 36-24, resolution approving agreement with the Henderson Economic Development allocating $60,000 for services and authorizing mayor to execute agreement. Resolution 37-24, resolution approving memorandum of understanding between the city and Henderson Tourist Commission regarding personnel for the Henderson Welcome Center, Gallery 101. Resolution 38-24, resolution approving agreement with the Humane Society of Henderson County Incorporated, allocating $145,172 for animal control and shelter services, and the mayor is authorized to execute agreement on behalf of city. Municipal Order 55-24, municipal order authorizing submittal of a Transportation Alternatives Program, or TAP application, excuse me, for funding in the amount of $280,960 to the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, Department of Rural and Municipal Aid, Office of Local Programs for the Merrill Trail Extension Project, accepting funds if awarded, and authorizing the city to execute all necessary documents. Municipal Order 56-24, municipal order amending Article 112, eligibility to be considered of the City of Henderson Employee Manual Municipal Order 57-24, municipal order setting car allowance for city manager, assistant city manager, and city attorney, effective July 1st, 2024. And Municipal Order 58-24, municipal order accepting school resource officer memorandum of understanding between the City of Henderson and Henderson County Board of Education and authorizing the mayor to execute on behalf of the city.
You did that all in one breath, didn't you? That's great. Can we get a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any comments, questions, or suggestions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Witt?
Aye.
Commissioner Vowles?
Aye.
Mayor I'm sorry. Oh, jeez.
It's been over a year, for goodness sake.
Year and a half, but yeah, who's counting, right?
Mayor Staten.
Aye.
Be a Freudian slip.
Wow.
Jeez.
Before, it's okay. Before we move on to the next part of the agenda, is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the commission on any matters that are not on the agenda? Hearing none, we have our second readings of ordinance regarding annexation.
Ordinance number 29-24, ordinance regarding annexation. An ordinance annexing certain unincorporated territory to the city of Henderson, Kentucky, located in Henderson County near the intersection of Old Corridon Road and Kentucky Highway 425 bypass, containing parcel ID number 46-13, which is 2144 Old Corridon Road, and consisting of approximately 0.388 acres or 16,919 square feet.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Witt?
Aye.
Commissioner Vowles?
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have a second reading of an ordinance amending fiscal year 2024 budget.
So, do you want the short and condensed version?
Absolutely.
Okay. Whoops. Amending budget and appropriation ordinance. An ordinance amending budget and appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024 for the city of Henderson, Kentucky. Whereas on June 13th, 2023, the city of Henderson adopted its annual budget and appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024, being ordinance number 14-23. And whereas on April 23rd, 2024, the city of Henderson amended its annual budget and appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024, being ordinance number 16-24. And whereas the city manager recommends that the following additional amendments be adopted. Now therefore be it ordained by the city of Henderson, Kentucky, that ordinance number 16-24 is amended as follows. Number 1, general fund amended budget, administration $4,199,720, fire $9,131,670, parks and recreation $1,963,680, police $9,903,710, information technology $1,162,750, other $1,970,590, transfers $7,084,000, total $41,931,000. Number 2, there is hereby appropriated from the general and special fund accounts of the city of Henderson and allocated to the various funds of the city the following amounts. General fund amended budget, general fund expenditure total $34,847,000, transfer to construction fund $2,284,000, total general fund $41,931,000. Construction fund amended budget $27,639,000, heart operating fund $1,945,000, sanitation fund $5,936,000. Number 3, the number and classifications of city employees as recited in the annual budget is approved as presented. Number 4, the city manager is authorized to hire an additional 2 police officers when it is deemed necessary by the chief of police and the city manager due to the length of training necessary for this position. Number 5, the city manager is authorized to hire an additional 1 firefighter when it is deemed necessary by the fire chief and the city manager due to the length of training necessary for this position. Number 6, the city manager is authorized to hire additional non-hazardous duty personnel for key positions when deemed necessary for succession training purposes, and the expenditures for the additional hires do not exceed the appropriations granted. And number 7, this ordinance of amendment shall become effective upon its legal adoption.
That was.
Number 30-24
Can we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Can we have a second?
Second.
So we went through that kind of fast, it sounds like. But this is our second reading, and we've discussed these at length in prior meetings. Does anyone have any comments, questions, or suggestions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Witt?
Aye.
Commissioner Vowles?
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have an ordinance amending Appendix A, zoning relating to medical cannabis.
Ordinance number 31-24, ordinance amending Appendix A zoning relating to medical cannabis. Ordinance amending Article 2 definitions, Section 2.01 definitions, Article 21 HC Highway Commercial District, Section 21.02 permitted uses, Article 23 M1 Light Industrial District, Section 23.02 permitted uses, and Article 25 AG Agricultural District, Section 25.02 permitted uses of Appendix A zoning of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Henderson relating to medical cannabis.
Could we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
And this is another one of those discussions that we've had for months now. Does anyone have any comments, questions, or suggestions before we vote? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Witt?
Aye.
Commissioner Vowles? Mayor Staten?
Aye. Next up, we have an ordinance amending job classifications and pay plan for fiscal year 2025.
Ordinance number 32-24, ordinance amending job classifications and pay plan. Ordinance approving amendment to job classifications and pay plan for non-hazardous duty positions, fire hazardous duty positions, and police hazardous duty positions, and approves providing for 3% cost of living adjustment for city employees for fiscal year 2025.
Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any comments, questions, suggestions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Witt?
Aye.
Commissioner Vowles? Mayor Staten?
Aye. Next up, we have a municipal order authorizing execution of a quitclaim deed and MOU with Hempel.
Municipal order number 59-24, municipal order approving quitclaim deed and memorandum of understanding between the City of Henderson, Kentucky and City of Henderson Utility Commission doing business as Henderson Municipal Power and Light for the full surface rights underlying properties located in Henderson County, Kentucky, being PVA parcel number 46-19.2, a portion of, and number 47-3, and limited surface rights underlying properties being PVA parcel number 46-19.2, a portion of, and number 48-4, and authorizing the mayor to execute all necessary documents on behalf of the city.
Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Do we have any comments, questions, or suggestions?
Can I
Please.
point out that Brad Bickett, GM for Hempel, is here today. Little background on what we are doing. The city was gifted the coal rights under about 2,200 acres of ground in the city of Henderson and parcel in Henderson County, under which HMPNL has a solar project which they would like to develop with a third party. Part of that process requires the developer to obtain the necessary clearances on the coal reserves under which the solar farm will be located. So to execute this, we have an agreement right now with Hempel relating to this municipal order. However, we've also placed a value of approximately $150,000 of in-kind services to be provided by HMPNL. That is not part of this document today. It is something that Mr. Beckett and I are still working on, and realize once we get to that point, we will bring it back for a clarification of this municipal order that you're asked to approve today. I believe, Mr. Beckett, do you have any further things to add to this discussion?
Brad Bickett, General Manager, Henderson Municipal Power and Light. Agree with what City Manager Buzzy Newman just said about the surface rights, and I would just add that allowing this solar project to have full rights to the surface and be able to be developed is going to be a really great benefit to the citizens of Henderson. HMP&L has a contract to purchase all the power produced from the solar facility that's going to be developed over a 20-year period. And we've been able to come to an agreement within the price of power, pretty close to what we're paying for power today. So I just want to reiterate the benefits that this is going to provide to the community. We'll actually have, a significant amount of local generation coming from this. It's going to be about 20% of the total energy consumed by Hempel's customers on an annual basis that will be produced. So, and then to the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding, I think that from our discussions, it seems like that we've are on the same page as to the in-kind services that will be provided from Hempel to the city. So it's the only comments I would have.
And we'll formalize it between the two parties.
And Brad, and your third party, you said it's a 20-year agreement?
Right.
Good deal. It seems to match up very closely with what we had discussed before, and I think we're getting a fair price, and we're also doing the right thing for Hempel and for what they want to accomplish. So, anybody else have any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Witt?
Aye.
Commissioner Vowles?
Aye.
Mayor Staten?
Aye. Next up, we have a resolution amending a water and sewer service agreement.
Resolution number 39-24, resolution approving 2024 amendment and restatement of water and sewer service agreement between the City of Henderson, Kentucky, Henderson Municipal Water and Sewer Commission, doing business as Henderson Water Utility, Tyson Chicken Incorporated, Henderson County, Kentucky, Webster County, Kentucky, and McLean County, Kentucky, and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement on behalf of the city.
We have a motion to approve, please.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments, questions, or suggestions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Witt?
Aye.
Commissioner Vowles?
Aye.
Mayor Staten?
Aye. Next up, we have a municipal order approving auto metering contract. No, excuse me, auctioneering contract.
I started.
Yeah, I need to have my glasses on.
Municipal order number 60-24, municipal order authorizing award of contract to Heron Auction LLC of Henderson, Kentucky for the auctioneering services for the sale of real property located at 105th Street.
We have a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have any comments, questions, or suggestions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Witt?
Aye.
Commissioner Vowles? Mayor Staten?
Aye. Next up, we have a city manager's report, and I think you have a few things on there you'd like to discuss.
I do. I would ask Jordan Webb to come to the podium, please.
Jordan Webb, 911 Director. I believe Buzzy wants me to talk about the CAD grant that we have recently received. So I just want to fill you in on that. We were the recipients this year for the 911 Services Board grant that we recently requested your approval to apply for. So we did receive $130,000 of that grant award, which is the most that any of the 911 agencies in Kentucky were awarded. So we are pretty proud of that, and the system was $260,310.50, which was a capital project that we had budgeted for. So $130,000 of that will be reimbursed. So the city's portion altogether will just be $97,732.87. So that's quite a large chunk there knocked off. But I'm pretty proud of this project, and we can begin work as soon as December, hopefully. And I believe that we've chosen a great vendor for that project, and it'll allow us to interact with agencies throughout Kentucky, and hopefully we'll have a great new CAD system on the way. So, any questions?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, very good.
Maybe we get the grant.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Jordan, thank you for your hard work, and it will take us into our next generation of, I wanted to call it computer-aided dispatch.
Correct. And Next Gen 911 capable. It's ready for text messaging and Next Gen 911, all of the texting and video that's coming in through 911. Next Gen EZNet is what they're calling it. It will be prepared for that. All right.
Awesome. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Next item, Dylan, do you mind to come up and briefly share your comments about the sports complex?
I'm gonna throw up a couple images real quick. So what Steve Major wanted me to talk about a little bit was, as y'all know, I've brought a budget to you all before with a lot of different items, and one of the items that we wanted to discuss today is something that's been there from the beginning, and that is a sign on the Audubon Parkway. So I think at the last meeting I showed you all a potential sign for Airline Road. That would be specifically for the facility. It would have an LED sign. It would advertise, events, that sort of thing. This sign would be more of a statement piece for the community. One of the benefits of the location of our property is its location on the Audubon Parkway. So I don't know how many of you are familiar, and I'll throw a picture up here in a second, but I-65 as you're heading north from Nashville to Bowling Green. Have any of you all ever seen that Bowling Green, Kentucky, home of Western Kentucky University sign? Yep. So that's kind of been, and I'll throw up a picture now, that's kind of been the inspiration for this. And so just to say it again, we have always left room in the budget for a sign such as this. Now, right now we've got roughly $250,000 set aside for that. In the budget that we've had since the beginning. It could, we can scale that sign in any way, but this is kind of the concept, and you may not be able to see it, but actually up here, you can see it better now. They've got the red letters with Bowling Green, and then they've got the county and the university. This is just a concept. I'm not saying we would mirror that exactly, but that's kind of been the inspiration. And I'm going to throw up a couple other, well, maybe not there. Let's see, it's here we go. This is just looking at the site. So the one thing is, for our particular site, it's on the left side of the road, but because of the way the road curves, it's still highly visible. It actually kind of throws you into it. So you can kind of see, this is just a hand-drawn, but this is coming into town, into Henderson. This is a sports complex right here. So that's kind of what a mock-up would look like. And then here's a preliminary concept of just what maybe ours would look like. Very preliminary, but we can make this thing look, any way y'all want it to. So really the purpose of this presentation is just to say we had set aside money in the overall budget for this, and we just wanted to know if this was something you all wanted us to pursue further, maybe come up with a more refined concept to present back to you all, maybe along with a cost proposal as to what we think it might cost. And we expect that, when we get to that point, we'll have to bid it out, but we just are looking to see if you all want us to proceed forward with pursuing this or not. Like I said, this would be less for the sports complex per se, and more for a sign for our community, welcoming people in as they're coming from the Owensboro direction.
I think we should pursue it. Much money we spending out there. We want it to look real nice and invite people in. So,
Well, and you said, correct me if I'm wrong, but you said this is something that we already have in the budget. It's not additional?
Correct. It's if you all remember when we first awarded the contract, I had a list of all the extras, and this one has always been included in there. We've always kind of set aside a little chunk of money to pursue something like this. We don't really know truthfully how much this thing is going to cost, but we have set aside a decent amount of money for it, and we can scale it as appropriate as needed. So.
One other comment, if you go back to the not the
I
highway, but that one.
Okay.
If you look at that sign, it resembles the same concept as the Welcome to Henderson sign that will go in the roundabout on 2nd Street. So it sort of mimics it. So if you look at this, it's sort of continuing our branding of our community. And the other thing I will say, and I think Holly, you were on the committee of HLI that helped fund the imprint of Welcome to Henderson on the bridge overpass. I believe that it's at the Airline Road overpass. And I also believe there's going to be another one at the US 60 interchange as well.
What about you guys? What do you think about moving forward with something like that on that property? You're okay?
I'm on board, yep.
It's
Commissioner
worth
Wood?
exploring, sure.
Yeah, I think it's worth fleshing out, and at least getting a quote for something, for how much something like that would be.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll work on getting maybe a couple options for y'all to look at, maybe some projected estimates, then we'll bring that back to you all at a later date.
Good deal.
Chat.
Thanks,
Thank
sir.
you.
Real quick, before we get into an in-depth discussion with Jennifer Marks, an update on the Clay Street Bridge project. The project bid last Friday. There were no bids received by KYTC, so the mayor and I reached out this morning to see what assistance we could get from KYTC, and we did receive a response this afternoon that Secretary Jim Gray has been made aware of it, and they will be advising very soon as to what can be done in this situation, having no bids. So we will keep you all abreast, but again, it's a KYTC project, and again, why no one bid on it is beyond everybody's question. So anyway, we'll keep you updated, but I think it's a point that has been a congestion part of things, not only with I-69, but now with Clay Street Bridge being closed, it's been somewhat of a bottleneck. So.
And the timeline that we were given by the state, in case you haven't seen, originally, they were going to bid it out last week. It was going to be open to traffic by the end of November, and then completed by April. And so we're going to do everything we can to remain in contact with KYTC, with Secretary Jim Gray, and with others to see about if we can stay on that same timeline or even speed it up a little bit. But whenever Buzzy told me this morning that we didn't get any bids for that project, we both got busy, and we understand how big of an impact that is to our community, and we're going to do everything we can to keep it on schedule. So.
And one critical thing to be said is this bridge was scheduled to be completed toward the end of the year. As an FYI, the Airline Road Bridge over the interstate will be taken out of service for about 4 months, beginning probably in the early spring of '25. It gets replaced. So the last thing we want are both bridges to be out of service at the same time. Next item, I would like to acknowledge the Department of Defense for being in Henderson over the last 2 weeks. They have wrapped up their event as of noon today. We will have some final numbers probably by tomorrow, and Holly will share with you all the information that they will release to us, and we will share that publicly once we know what that is. I will say in our passing with y'all that attended the DV Day at the South Junior High, they wish to come back to Henderson in the very near future. It's a matter of applying for a grant to see if we can get them to come back. We don't know if we can get them back next year or not, but they have strongly encouraged us to do so, and that their expectations were far exceeded, and that Henderson, they brag, and thanks to tourism and to the Henderson Flash, the Henderson County Health Department, Health First. If I leave anybody out, I'm sorry, but we have had a great partnership with our partners in this community to make this happen. And so with that being said, I also want to acknowledge Brad, Mayor, for their involvement with it. And it's provided a benefit that our citizens likely would not have had if it was not for this event. And I know Commissioner Pruitt had toured through on several occasions, and I don't know if you have anything you would like to add.
I went over. I got a couple pair of glasses, but what I seen was the first couple of days there was just people in that you figured that really couldn't afford insurance to have that medical stuff done. The last 3 or 4 days, I've seen a lot of Hispanics that just filled the gymnasium. And that was a great thing, that we had a lot of, the word was getting around to everybody that, hey, free healthcare, and they were just coming in. The last 3, 4 days was packed. Getting in, but I got me a couple of glasses now. I can read it, so I was happy. But I've never seen anything like that. Just you walk in and just put your name down. They ask no questions. They just went straight to helping you out. Usually everybody wants a lot of numbers, so they just welcomed everybody in. So that was awesome. And I want to thank Buzzy. I was in contact with him for some stuff over the weekend, but I know he was running and making connections and having to send people to Georgia to pick up stuff. He was really instrumental in the success of the program. I just want to thank you for being there for him. You did a great job.
Thank you, and I also want to include Holly Blanford, who has been at their side since the day they showed up. Sam Lingerfeld's not with us today.
Yes,
He's still with them, but he's been with them every day. Support from the city staff has been unbelievable, and it's just been a great success. So,
City manager and city staff did such a great job at the Department of Defense. Gave them a community award, community partner award.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That presentation with the governor there. So congratulations on the.
And thanks to Commissioner Bowles for being there and receiving that for us. So, the last item on the agenda for my report, I would ask Jennifer Marks to come up, but I'm going to give a brief overview of why she's here. We have had a request from a housing developer about one of our ordinances, and what I'm going to do is ask Jennifer to explain what our current ordinance provides, and then let her explain how everything works within the system, and then discuss with y'all what the request is for, and is there any resolution to the request by the housing developer. So Jennifer, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, so I might go into too much detail, but I always feel like that's necessary. But to start with the overview, the request that we have received is that we make changes to our current addressing policy for major subdivisions. I want to go over real quick what's in the packet. If you have questions on it, just stop me. But the first, you'll see a memo from 2005. Includes people like Peggy Wood, Kathy Farrell. When the original discussion started, that addressing needed to happen in one location. So you'll see there that that's kind of where the conversation got started, that the Planning Commission be the sole entity for addressing of new developments. I don't want to knock that off. The second page, you will see that a committee was put together to review the county's, let me make that clear, the county's addressing ordinance. So, but the importance of this list, I think, is that you'll see that there are also city officials on that list. So when they reviewed how to go about doing the addressing process, they included city people as well as county people to create the ordinance. I couldn't find an exact date of when this committee was put together. My guess is between 2013 and 2014 based on other documents. The third page in that section is going to be the city's current ordinance on addressing. So if you read all this stuff in the top, that's how we go about doing it with the numbering, what it needs to look like, things like that. The only mention of the process is letter G that's highlighted for you all, which discusses that the Henderson City County Planning Commission is the designated official agency responsible for assigning addresses. So that is as far of detail that the city goes in on discussing how they want to do the addressing. So from that standpoint, at least since 2015, when the county, your next document is going to be the county's ordinance, that we use as kind of our playbook for how we've done it. And it's been like that at least since 2015, 16, when Heather Lauderdale in our office took that job. I believe Karen Bryant did it previously, and she's the one that taught Heather how to do it. So I at least know for a fact that it's been this way since then. You will see, of course, in that first highlighted section, Planning Commission is the designated official, just like you've seen there. So going into that second page there, I think it's important that we discuss the process of how we do this. So when we're talking about addressing any kind of lot, it's typically a lot of record that's created through a plat process. If it's one lot being divided off of something, the plat's recorded, we give it an address. Simple enough. It gets a little bit more complex when we're talking about a major subdivision. So as Buzzy mentioned, we have had a developer request that we change this process. So that in our discussions, we went back and forth with the city attorney, Buzzy, myself, Brian, and we thought it was best for you all to make the decision on whether you wanted the city's ordinance changed to reflect a different process or not. So I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what our process is, and then you guys, of course, we can discuss further or anything like that. So with a major subdivision, Rodney, this is probably all not new at all, but with a major subdivision, they do have to go through the Planning Commission board. So they submit a preliminary plat with related construction drawings, shows a layout of what they plan to do there, whether it's 50 lots, 100 lots, however they plan to do that. Construction drawings are going to include their utility update infrastructure plan, so roads, water, sewer, gas, things like that. That does go through the Planning Commission. So at that point, once a preliminary plat is approved, typically the next stage would be submitting your final plat, whether it's in a sectionalized process or whether you do it in full. So a lot of times people will sectionalize their developments so that it's less they have to go through with getting C of Os, title change, bonding, all of that stuff. So at that point, typically we would get a final plat in office. So the final plat is what creates a legal lot of record. So in the county's ordinance here, just those different sections that are highlighted, they all refer to a legal lot of record. So that is how we have set out our process. Because I don't want to confuse you saying that the county's has a step-by-step process, because it doesn't. But it says you are addressing once a legal lot of record is created. So the only way a legal lot of record is created is once a final plat is recorded. At that point, typically in our process, once we record that final plat, it goes straight to Heather in our office, who is the addressing technician, and she lays out all the addresses for them, assigns them all. The importance of that is that she is in contact with NSAG and Jordan and the USPS. She has all of that. So that's typically how that assignment process works. The request that we have currently is that we allow developers to get addresses on preliminary plats. And so that is kind of where we are with that. Again, a preliminary plat is a very beginning stage of that. Your lot layout can change sometimes with a preliminary plat, and so that is why we wait till a final plat, because you've got a legal lot of record to then address. So again, the developer's request is to possibly be able to get addresses based on a preliminary plat. And like I said, with it being your all's ordinance, we thought it was appropriate for you all to weigh in on how you would like us to move forward with that.
Why do they want that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what difference is it, preliminary and
What
final,
benefit?
or address?
We have a theory, but it's a theory of ours, not theirs. They've not explained it to us other than they're requesting it. We suspect that it has something to do with the way their marketing plan is for their development. Outside of that, do you have any other opinion?
I do not have a solid answer. We have asked several occasions for the understanding of why that process needs to be changed, and we have not received it. The only thing that, again, with him, like Buzzy mentioned, it's either a marketing thing or potential for
Financing?
financing, possibly, but I don't understand financing enough, so I don't want to be that comment to say one way or the other with regards to a legal lot of record being financed or not financed. So I'm not a bank person, and I'm not a mortgage broker, so.
And luckily today, we have Eric Chappelle here, who is also a real estate attorney.
Oh,
who
how nice.
May have some thought about it.
Eric, do you have a thought about it, sir?
No.
Well, that was fun, yeah.
That was quick.
No, I don't, because like Jessica said, or Jessica, I'm sorry, until the legal lot is made with the recording of that final plat, they can't can't mortgage that specific piece of property, they can't transfer that specific piece of property. You know, if it's a 100-acre piece of land that they're subdividing into 200 lots, they can't do anything with any one of those particular addresses until that final plat's recorded anyway. They can't mortgage it, they can't, not limited to that one specific space at least. So I too don't really understand why, what the advantage would be to them, other than just their own organization of some kind.
Well, and we would be guessing at a lot. They do
100%.
They do creative. The developer that's asked for this does some creative things that other developers don't do. They have a trade-in program where you can trade in your existing house, and there's lots of stipulations for that, and sign an agreement to then purchase a house from them. So it could have something to do with that. Some of the things that I found interesting in the preliminary discussions before the meeting was that other cities in Kentucky do allow for this to happen, and they have experienced some success with some major developers who like the way that they do that process. Another thing that came up in discussion is that it is possible for us to allow for the option. So we could allow a developer, all developers, not just any major developers or any one developer, but all the developers the option to address their properties with the preliminary. And then I think the Planning Commission might want to place some stipulations on that, where if you do your addresses up front, then you're not allowed to change the density of your property, so that it doesn't create any havoc later on when you've got nice, neat, organized numbers in a row, and then the density changes, and you've got to go back and change all that because that could be a headache. But we could find ourselves in a position to where we allow for the option. A builder can choose whether they want to address the properties preliminarily or just wait until it's finalized, and then abide by the stipulations that we assign to it. And so there's a number of different ways that we could go. But at the end of the day, I think we could accomplish something without causing any undue harm to the process, to the Planning Commission, and allowing just an extra little flexibility to people who want to develop in our community. And I think that would be a step toward trying to create more positive relationships with people who want to do business here.
So the downside is just if they change the plat from preliminary to final.
There's honestly several different things that would come into play. And so that's why something I discussed with no changes, because your infrastructure is also going to be set up based on how your preliminary plat is laid out. And so if for some reason they decide they've realized they could fit 20 more lots on the end of this road here. Well, now in a sense, that would then have to go back to Planning Commission, the full meeting, because you have amended your original approved drawing. I do think it's important to note that we currently have 2 different subdivisions being developed out that have followed this process, and we have never been informed that there's an issue, I guess, with it. Sometimes it's a little bit of a headache in that if we're putting up bonding, but again, we're not discussing the bonding part, or making sure they get the final plat in, but up until this point, there has never been major issue, to my knowledge, again, 4 years. I've only been here for 4 years, so before that, but it's been a process that has worked well. The ordinance that the county committee came up with, they referenced several other communities, Lexington, Louisville, Bowling Green, smaller counties and stuff like that. It wasn't just something that was put together willy-nilly kind of thing.
That does it the way we do it.
Huh?
That does it the way we do it.
Yeah. That's how they came to this.
Yeah.
I didn't read all of those from then, and so I don't want to say for sure what all they say, but they did do their research and do their homework. Something we did discuss, obviously, is if we allow addressing to be given on a preliminary stage, another issue that we might run into is the parcel identification numbers. So through the PVA, again, no, I'm not a PVA expert, but through PVA, they do not assign new parcel identification numbers until a lot is transferred to a different owner. So if we address 50 lots through a preliminary plat stage, they will all maintain the same parcel identification number until they are transferred to a different owner, which gets a little bit confusing in paperwork through mortgage and purchasing and stuff like that. That is nothing that we have set, that is through the PBA office. And even with smaller developments that we see, whether they're dividing 2 lots or 3 lots, they will maintain that same parcel ID number until they transfer one of those lots out of their name.
And I just want to follow up and say it's a very complicated issue. While it may seem simple, it is far from being simple. However, there's some other considerations. I don't think Steve Davis is here, but I think Jordan could be asked, if we had a housing development with no addresses and something happened on that 100-acre site, how would you pinpoint if someone called in 911? If you had a trench collapse, especially when the road names will be established, but let's say someone calls from the site and they don't even know what street they're on.
Right.
So,
Yeah, we can always tell where you are, but it's better to have a street name and an address established to direct the emergency responders to. We can give them an area of where they're at, but I really like the ordinance the way that it is. I think it was created that way so that there wouldn't have to be modifications made before Heather came along. I know it was difficult getting in touch with AT&T and updating the MSAG. So I think that may be part of the reason that the ordinance is the way that it is. That's just my opinion, but I know that before Heather took her position, I know that it was difficult updating the MSAG ranges, so that may be another reason. So I strongly suggest to keep it the way that it is for emergency response reasons.
And I think another important thing to bring up that Buzzy and Jordan have both mentioned is that we're talking about road names here. So street names are not given until a final plat. So they can be on the preliminary listed, but they're not given till a final plat. And remember, those streets don't even become in existence until they are built and accepted by the city, or if there's a bond in place so that we know that they will be built to public improvement specifications. So from doing a preliminary plat stage, doing addressing, yes, you can address it 1012 Main Street, but Main Street doesn't exist until the final plat is completed and the city has taken it into there's an official road index that our office also does keep up with. And it does not go onto the official road index until the city has accepted it in for maintenance.
I'll tell you what might make a whole lot of sense, is that you presented us some really good arguments, and we're basing a lot of the arguments off of work that was done by a committee 20 years ago. And we don't know, or we can't talk about why they asked for this. We have no idea. So it might make more sense to have them come and tell us why they want it, because there may be a really, really good reason that we just don't know before we say, no, we're not going to do anything. It might be nice just to have them come and say, hey, we're asking because of this reason, and their reasons might be
Something we hadn't thought about.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. It might be something we haven't thought about.
I think a lot more information provided on the why
Yeah,
would help.
yeah, I do too. I do too. Can we arrange for that?
we can, we'll do that at our next meeting. Again, it's one of those things that may appear to everyone to be a minor issue, but with them making the formal request, we tried to work through this, and it's one of those things we felt that it'd be important to bring to your attention, just so you have input as to why we changed our process, because anybody else that is currently developing could ask any one of you, why did y'all change this for them?
Correct.
Okay, it's never been asked before, to my knowledge, so we will have them, a representative of the developer here on July 9th to answer any questions.
Yeah.
We'll probably do it under city manager's report at that time again and go from there. But I appreciate y'all listening and asking questions, and it gives us some direction in which to go in.
Like I said, there might be some valid reason we need to change it.
Yeah, it could be. I hate to say no without
Yeah.
hearing from them to see. Yeah.
I think that's a good suggestion.
Gotcha. Thank you. Is that all on the city
That's all I
manager's
have.
report? All right. I'd like to recognize a guest in the audience and ask him to come up to the podium. Judge Brad Schneider has joined us and has requested a minute or two of our time. Judge, if you'd like to come up to the podium.
Thank you. Just wanted to come over and visit and see how the big boys do it. This morning at our fiscal court meeting, our last of the fiscal year, it's usually a good time to kind of look back and reflect on what's happened in the last 12 months. And I expressed my admiration and appreciation for our county team, our fiscal court, for so many of the amazing things that have happened in the last year in our communities. And I also mentioned that none of that would be possible without the great collaboration and cooperation and spirit of teamwork that we have with the City Commission and all of you. I don't like spiking footballs or doing touchdown dances, but every once in a while, you have to recognize that for the work you do and the way you put yourselves out there to be criticized or praised by the public, every once in a while it's okay to be satisfied with everything you've accomplished. And I just wanted to come up here today and say I'm proud of everything, all the amazing things, the long list of things that have happened in the last year. And I really am honored and proud of our relationship. It is not common in the state of Kentucky for counties and city governments to be so in step with one another's goals and work closely together. And I think we should be appreciative of the fact that we work that out and make good things happen. So just wanted to come by and visit and say that. Thank you.
Judge, I want to echo what you said and give a little anecdote. Been to Frankfurt quite a bit over the last year and a half for different reasons. And the state legislature over the last year and a half has largely been looking at ways they can force counties and cities to cooperate because they just don't do it. And it is uncommon to have the level of cooperation and collaboration that we've had with the county. We've got a number of big projects that we couldn't have accomplished, or it would have been much more difficult, let's put it that way, without your all's input and support. And just want to say on behalf of the city, we appreciate the relationship we have as well, equally.
I'd just like to add that we don't always get along. You know, everybody thinks we say yes, yes, yes to everything, but there's times where we do disagree, but no one will ever know it because we go in closed meetings and hash it out. And when we come out, we're still on the same team. We appreciate you guys for that.
Thanks.
Judge, it sounds like you was eavesdropping on me and Holly's conversation. I was just telling him I've been in this thing for quite a while now. I told her that the way we work now, city and county, I said years ago, that would have never happened. And I was just telling her, see what I'm talking about? If I would have to say, we've probably got one of the best relationships probably in the state of Kentucky when it comes to city, county governments.
I can't see a better one.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
So we've done some things I know wouldn't have happened 20 years ago. We collaborated on. I said that would have been Robert. No, we don't mess with them. They don't mess with us. We're not helping them. In-kind services. We're not doing none of that. So we really got a great relationship. We're in the right direction, and it's showing up. Like you said, look at this year we had this past year. Awesome.
It's our secret sauce. Really is. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge. We appreciate it. All right, I got one appointment for today. And I hope I pronounced this gentleman's last name correctly because I've been pronouncing it incorrectly and they told me how to pronounce it and I still forget. I would like to suggest to the commission that we appoint Mr. Maximilian Lisemby, I believe is the correct way to pronounce that. Is that right? Lisemby.
Yes.
To the Human Rights Commission for a term of, is it?
It's the remainder of the term.
Thank you.
So
I was going to ask, how long is that term?
it's through September the 17th of 26.
Thank you. Through September of 26. So it's not a usual term. It's through the remainder of the term. But I'd like to entertain a motion that we appoint Mr. Max Lisemby to the remainder of that term for the Human Rights Commission.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt,
All right.
Commissioner Witt,
Aye.
Commissioner Vowles, Mayor Staten.
Aye. And lastly, we have commissioners' reports. Commissioner Thomas, do you have anything for us today?
Nothing at this time.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Yeah, I would just like to thank everybody that had a hand in the Juneteenth block party this past weekend. I would like to thank Brad and Bart for coming and hanging out with us and playing cornholes. I think Bart came in second. A team that plays all the time. It really probably wasn't fair. They play all the time. You know, they beat them, so but we had a great time.
Brought some ringers in.
Thank you, everybody.
Well, next year, if you'll get me the date a little earlier, I'll make sure I'm available, and I'll bring this golden arm out of retirement.
All right.
That's right. Commissioner Witt,
Nothing today.
Commissioner Vowles. And I've got one item for discussion. So last week, so we've been in discussions with Habitat for Humanity on a new blight elimination program that they are working on in their inner city committee that we are going to be asked to take a look at. And Matt asked me to bring it up here just to make sure that directionally you all are okay with the idea. If I'm not mistaken, we budget around $50,000 a year to address blight. Is that right?
On removal of blighted housing that either has gone through foreclosure and/or condemnation.
So what Matt and his committee have done is they've gone to the Board of Habitat and they have asked for something kind of bold. And that is they would like to put up $500,000, which would be $100,000 a year for 5 years to address the elimination of blight in the inner city area. And what their request would be, and their board voted in favor of moving forward with the condition that we match that money. And so instead of having our $50,000 that would go toward blight elimination each year for the next 5 years, we would have our $100,000, which would then be matched by the Habitat for Humanity's $100,000. So we would have $200,000 that would go toward blight remediation in the inner city, and Habitat will actually be responsible for coordinating the activities that go toward the elimination of blight in the inner city as a result of that program. They're also seeking other matching partners as well, so that money could actually grow. But if it's just the two of us, that would be $1 million over the next 5 years instead of $250,000 over the next 5 years that would go toward blight remediation and elimination in the inner city. Is that something that you all would be interested in entertaining should they bring us something for us to look at? That's basically what he wants me to ask.
Absolutely. When what they said the biggest expense was mediating houses.
It is, and
If we
and
could remediate
the
more, then we have more Habitat houses being built.
well the price for eliminating blight has gone up significantly with asbestos requirements. It is doubled, tripled? I mean, it's tripled. It's really gone up, and so our money has gone a lot less. Has not gone as far as it has in the past, and so this is a way for our money to go much farther. I'm in support of it, but I wanted to see what you guys think, because I have blind spots sometimes too, but Commissioner Witt, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm on the committee, so yeah, I think it's a good idea. And I think the thought was, I can't remember exactly, maybe it's changed a little bit, either free it up to obviously maybe have Habitat houses, but also free it up for other developments if those were to transpire. I don't think the idea necessarily was for Habitat to necessarily build on all that. Is that right? Jennifer's shaking her head back, she's on our committee as well. But to really open it up to hopefully spur some type of development. Obviously, there would be some Habitat houses, but there'd probably be other development as well. So I think it makes sense when presented that way.
Gotcha. What about you guys? What are your thoughts?
I'd say absolutely, if we can help our money out.
It is it's costly now to tear down a home, and a new home is running like, I don't know, 187 for 1,200 square feet. So you're almost talking 200,000 for a new.
Yep.
So if we can get new homes on the tax roll and it help recuperate some of our money that we put into it, it's a good thing.
And we've got a little time to budget and plan. It's been suggested that they're going to put together the parameters of an MOU with Dawn Kelsey and maybe with Eric as well. Yeah. Yep. And they're looking at a start date of July 1st next year for that implementation. So that gives us time to situate our legalities, come to agreement, see if there's any additional funding partners who would like to join us in our efforts to really go and attack blight in the inner city area. So thank you. I will relay that on to Matt. And with that, don't see any other business that we have before. Yes, sir.
We had
Yes.
a citizen come in, you may ask.
Oh, sure. Ma'am, did you need to address the commission today? Well, please, you're more than welcome to come up.
I'm so sorry that I'm late.
That is okay. That's all. You caught us just in time.
I was working, so had to wait till I got off work. So, my name is Pamela King, and I have a ongoing, something that's ongoing that I really needed to address. And I was just wondering if I could possibly kind of bring it out just a little bit today, if I might.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to make it short. I don't want to keep anybody any longer. Okay,
Take your time.
it's okay.
We got time.
So I have been having this ongoing problem, and I cannot get a handle on it. And it seems as though that every place that I have been for help is failing me. And I basically don't know what to do. I've been a citizen here all my life, and I've been a quiet citizen. I just don't understand how this all came about and why it's happening to me, but I've been reaching out for so long, and I don't believe in just moving from one place to another will solve this problem, because this problem follows me, and it needs to be addressed. They need to be captured, and they need to be arrested. So I basically am pleading because I don't know what else to do.
Ms. King, we've talked
Yes, sir,
over
we
many
have.
years.
And that's the whole point. We've talked for many years, but this person has still not been apprehended. And I am a female. I'm not out in the streets. I don't do drugs. This person should have been caught a long time ago, because I've been going back and forth with this thing, and I don't think running is going to help, because it started in a different area. And I moved from that area to this area that I'm in now. I don't think that by moving, it's going to solve the problem. The problem is that we have a sick individual on our hands. It just may not be me that he's targeting. It might be other people that he's targeting. I have no clue. I'm not out there for this person to target me, because all I do is work and go to the grocery store and go home. I'm not out there like that.
So can we talk through a little bit about the history that we've had back and forth? And I will say it goes back to police chiefs. First was Chief Cox, second was with Chief McKinney. And in both situations, I know Chief McKinney personally went to her house. We've had patrols, we've had police officers look around the perimeter of your house. I don't know if they came inside or not. And without getting into any deep detail of what the situation is, what I don't know is you have moved since the last time I've talked to you, and you say it has followed you.
The first time, when this first happened to me, I lived on Partridge Run.
Right.
Okay, so I moved from Partridge Run.
To 8th Street.
Exactly. So then I'm up there. I think this person is a stalker. And there was a lot of clues. There were fingerprints. There was a lot of things that I have addressed. And it's not just they've even had me to see if I could go and get an evaluation, which really, I think my civil rights had been stepped on. Because, you know, when I went to the hospital to get a rape kit test, they denied me. Therefore, whenever the police talked to me, they said without the rape kit, that their hands were tied, they couldn't do anything. So my thing is why was I denied? Not one time, but 2 times. And so I'm always coming back to square one. I didn't want to come here and bring this out, but why is it so hard for me to get some help in catching this individual? This person comes to my house every single day, and they come and try to break in. I've called several people, there's no surveillance to see if they could even catch the individual. As soon as I call, that person runs. Now, if they were already somewhere stationed, they probably would have been done caught this person a long time ago. Because he's consistent. Because why? It's because he know that I'm not getting any help. That I'm out there on my own.
Do you have any kind of surveillance?
I have those. But my surveillance cameras are always, right when the break-in is trying to happen, they're blank. And it had been brought to my attention that there's probably using a Wi-Fi jammer. And I was always having problem with my Wi-Fi. And I had always been calling Spectrum back and forth to come out there, and either the wires was up were loosened or something. But it's always that certain footage that's always missing. So it's not just
I'm not going to ask where you have moved to now, but you have left 8th Street.
I have
correct?
not.
You've not, you're still there.
I am.
Okay. So I would like to set up a meeting with you and our acting police chief, Bob Schultz. And we will do it at your convenience. I know you work days, and we can set something up. And I think at one time we did discuss maybe possibly relocating you. We did offer to help you with that.
You did offer to help me relocate. And I in turn said, what if I do move there and this person follows me there? I just don't feel safe.
Yeah. Would you be agreeable to meet with our acting police chief and our incoming future police chief,
Yes.
Billy Bowling?
Mr. Bowling, yes.
Yeah. Would you be agreeable with that?
Yes, because I have spoken to them before already
Recently?
in the NAACP meeting.
Okay. Was that recently?
It was the last meeting.
Last month? Okay. I will get with them tomorrow, and then we'll set up a time, but I want to be there because I have
Yes,
something
please.
else. Because if I understand it correctly, are you in a duplex?
No,
It's a single?
it's a
home?
single home. It's
Okay.
it's not a duplex.
Okay.
What it is 2 smaller homes built on one lot.
Okay. All right. I'll get with them, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I believe we still have your phone number in my
Mhm.
office.
I'm not for sure. Because
Pardon
I've had to change it recently. I've had to, just kept getting those spam calls and everything and stuff on there.
So Donna Madden, who you've talked to before, will
Right.
walk out with you, will get your cell phone number. I do know where to find you otherwise, so we'll get with you.
Thank you so much. I would like to address the council and say that I'm so very sorry no, I can't be sorry for stepping out and stepping up because
No, you can't.
people are in dire need of help all the time, and some don't even reach out. But I do not want to be a statistic. I have a grandbaby. that I like to grow old with. And you never know what this person's agenda is. Even though I move, I don't want to run. I don't want to run. I want the person called, and I want the person dealt with, please.
All of us want you to feel
Yes.
safe in your home, and if there's anything the city can do to help you listen to the home, we're probably all on board with.
Sure,
Make
yeah.
that happen.
You don't need to live in fear.
Donna, do you mind to
Thank you for coming.
take her to my office, please?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Ms. King,
Thank you.
it takes a lot of courage to do what you just did, to come up and talk about something personal in a venue that you're not familiar with. And I just want you to know that we're happy that you came to tell us about this, to tell us that you need help, and we'll get you the help that you need.
Thank you
and
so
Thank
much.
you for coming and telling us about it today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
That's okay. What's that? Numbers on the, yeah.
Like I give.
Can we set up a time for our next meeting to do that? Is that okay?
That's fine.
Thank
I can
you.
send Malone the next one.
Thank you. Thank you. With that, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right. This meeting's adjourned.